The benefits of investment banking and the benefits of working as an investment banker. I worked at 3 major investment banks. I worked at Morgan Stanley, I worked at CIBC World Markets, and I worked at Petsky Prunier. At Morgan Stanley, I worked as an intern, and I completed my coursework at Cornell in 3.5 years. So I received a full-time offer for the following summer, but then CIBC World Markets gave me a large signing bonus, and they also allowed me to start in their industrial growth and services group. I believe my start date was February 23rd of 2004, which I believe is a Monday. And I started there, and there were a few benefits. And I'm going to tell you what those benefits are so that you can make a decision on whether you believe investment banking is something that you want to pursue. The first benefit of investment banking is that you learn incredibly quickly. I was able to put together complicated financial models without even touching the mouse. We have macros and shortcuts in Excel and in Word that would enable me to put together very complicated and long financial models. Some of them had about 70 tabs, and I could put together the entire model without touching a mouse. Now, before I had any training, this would probably take me weeks to do it. But because I had substantial training and I could do things very quickly, you could put together and shorten the amount of time it takes you to do something from a few weeks to just a few days. The second thing that is really important is that you're actually making a pretty good amount of money. Now, on a per hour basis, you're not making that much money, but overall, I was 20 years old and I was making about $120,000 a year. That's pretty good money. That's probably more money than about 98% of my friends. So from a monetary perspective, it's pretty good. The next thing which is beneficial about investment banking is that even as an analyst, you do get to travel. I traveled to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, Texas. I also went to Michigan, which was really nice, and a few other places, Boston a few times. Traveling is pretty nice because everything is paid for. You get to stay in nice hotels. And I remember when I was growing up, my parents would always make me share a hotel room with them because they wanted to save money. So it was pretty nice to be able to have my own hotel room, even though I was very young, and order room service, and everything that I paid for was expensed by the company. And additionally, you frequently had some time off so you can explore the city and walk around a little bit. So traveling was nice. The next thing is that you would oftentimes work with CEOs and CFOs who would be 3 times your age, but they would respect you tremendously and they would always listen to you. So I really like that. The fact that I had just graduated from college and I was only 20 years old. However, I was able to speak to and be respected by and be in the same room as people who were worth $50 to $100 million. I remember we had a meeting in Blackstone, and some of the founders of Blackstone were there. I remember meeting Herb Granith, who was the founder of ESPN, when we did a SPAC with him. And just things like that are experiences that when you're in your early 20s, you are in the same room as very wealthy and influential people. And I don't know how many of you guys have seen Hamilton, but in the musical Hamilton, there's a song by Aaron Burr who says, "I want to be in the room where it happens." And as an investment banker, despite being very young, you are in the room where it happens. You're in the room with decision makers, and you're in the room with extremely powerful people. The next thing is that you're able to work with, and this dovetails off what I said previously, you're able to work with and be exposed to some of the smartest people in the industry. The next thing is that a lot of your friends and family are jealous because you're making so much money and you're held in very high regard. And also because you're in the room with some of the most powerful people in the country, they are often interested in the stories that you have to tell. The next thing is you have unlimited black car service and Uber as long as you leave the office after around 7 or 7:30 p.m. on weekdays, and also unlimited Uber on weekends. You also have all your meals paid for. So as long as you stay in the office past around 7 or 8, then you could expense all your meals, and frequently the meal per diem that you have is about $30. Now that's an easy way to get fat, because if you're ordering takeout every single day from restaurants, and you're not going to be eating the healthiest food. However, it is nice to have food delivered to you and to be able to eat on the company's dollar. And also with expenses, I know that for some groups in the Industrial Growth and Services group at CIBC World Markets, it was head by Mark Henkels, and he never checked the receipts. So frequently I would bring girls out to expensive dinners, and these dinners would cost about $100 or $150, and I would expense it, and no one ever said anything. The next thing is being an investment banker allowed me to have a lot more sex than I should have had. Now, it's not for the reason that you think. It wasn't because I had elevated social status and that the girls were actually impressed by me being an investment banker at such a young age. No, it wasn't about that at all. Instead, the reason I was able to have a lot of sex, and much more than I should have in my early 20s, was because I would send out black car service to Westchester County, Suffolk County, Nassau, New Jersey to pick girls up at any time that I wanted. I remember I sent a black car service out to pick up this girl from Suffolk County, Long Island at about 3:30 in the morning. So things like that, and then also bringing a girl out to an expensive dinner and giving the impression that you don't care about money because you're expensing that meal anyway, gives you the appearance that you're really fun and that you're okay with splurging money to make sure that you show that girl a good time. And because of that, girls are naturally attracted to those type of people because they want to have good experiences. So when you pick a girl up in a black car and then you lavish her with an expensive dinner, and you bring her back to your nice apartment in Midtown Manhattan, then it pretty much sells itself, and she's just caught up in the experience itself, and then you end up having a lot more sex than you should have. Now, she doesn't know that you're expensing that dinner, but I'm just telling you that one of the advantages is that if you are able to work in a group, whether it be an industry group or a product group, an industry group would be something like metals and mining, and a product group would be something like leverage finance or mergers and acquisitions. Now, if you're able to work in one of those groups that allow you to expense things, then you will be able to take advantage of this opportunity. However, there are some groups and some banks that are very strict on expenses. When I worked at Petsky Prunier, all those expenses that I told you about as far as unlimited black car service and expensive dinners, they went away because Sanjay Chadha, who I worked with at Petsky Prunier, was much more strict in checking all the receipts. So when you work as an investment banker, you're not going to know beforehand the attitude of the group that you work in and how they treat expenses. So that's something that you're going to have to find out while you're on the job. My overall recommendation for working as an investment banker, and in the next video I'm going to get to some of the drawbacks and disadvantages of working as an investment banker, but my overall recommendation would be to work as an investment banker for 6 to 12 months and then to move on to the private equity space or move on to a hedge fund, or just to move on and become an entrepreneur and start your own business. So those are the advantages that I remember from being an investment banker, where you're able to network with some of the most intelligent and bright people in the industry. You learn incredibly quickly. You learn so much finance. You're able to get things done very quickly as well. You have unlimited black car service and also your expenses. And if you're in a great group, then you're able to have more sex than you should. Additionally, your parents and friends are going to be jealous of you. They shouldn't be jealous of you. And you're also going to make pretty good money. So if you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'm trying to be as honest with you as possible. But in the next video, I'm going to do my thoughts on what the disadvantages of working as an investment banker are.